I was following some conversation online where some persons were talking about the carer visa, the challenges that comes with the carer visa, and the challenges those that are working with the carer visa currently face in the UK. Why it is good to also talk about those challenges to educate those that are interested in coming to the UK with the carer visa, it is also very important to set the record straight. I've been following up this conversation for some time, and the way these persons talk about the carer visa and those that are working with the carer visa is something that is demeaning, right? Understand the carer visa once you gain an employment from an eligible employer and you are sponsored to work with that employer under the carer visa. You are bound to work with that visa, with that employer for the period of your sponsorship. This also applies to other skill sets that are eligible for visa sponsorship. But the worrisome part of this conversation is how they make those who live outside the country feel that people who work with the carer visa are people who are doing the less paying job in the UK. That is not true, right? We don't talk down on people working within the care sector as though they are misplaced priority, right? One of their argument is, why will someone come into the UK as a student after completing your master's study? You go and tie yourself into a 3 years, a 5 years sponsorship with your employer, right? That is a misplaced priority, discouraging people, right, who are back home in a different country, hoping to come into the UK through the carer visa, or those who are students, upon completion of their study, they see the carer route as a means of extending their stay here in the UK, right? This narrative is very wrong. I can tell you for a fact that some persons working under the health and care visa route that are doing exceptionally well, right? You can call it any name, but some of them earn good pay the same way most of these persons that work in a different skill set other than the carer visa. And those working within the carer visa have some advantage also. So if you are getting a 3 or 5 years sponsorship, as the case may be, you will not be paying IHS fee, right? That's immigration health surcharge fee, which has risen from the previous amount to £1,035 per person per year. So the carer visa comes with its own advantage, and those working within the carer visa, they are not misplaced priority, right? The principal thing is, once you came into the UK on a temporary visa, either study visa or other type of temporary visa, upon completion or at the expiration of the term that brought you here, if you decide to stay beyond that term, you need an employer that is eligible to sponsor your visa, right? If you're able to gain an employment with that employer, so that you can be able to extend your visa by getting a sponsorship from that employer. And one of the areas you can easily get this is through the health and care visa, because there exists a lot of vacancy in that area that needs to be filled. But this conversation online, where some persons are making those that work within the health and care visa look as if they are misplaced priority, they are people who are not skilled to do that job and the likes, that is not true, right? While I was listening to this conversation and just seeing some back and forth comment and play or talk down on those working within the carer visa route as if they are misplaced priority. Why would someone come to the UK to study on the master's level? At the end of his or her study, you go and tie yourself into 3 years or 5 years sponsorship within the health and care sector. I find it demeaning, and it's not right. While you are working as a carer in the UK, right, that doesn't mean you cannot upskill yourself to be able to get other skill that can give you the eligibility or gives you that leverage to be able to function in other areas. Also, we're talking about why would somebody go and tie himself within the care system for 5 years when you have higher qualification. I'm telling you for a fact, getting skill sponsorship from other sector like IT and data analytics, engineering, it's not as easy as most of you think, right? You must meet the academic qualification, you must have the skill, experience, and the likes before you can be able to get sponsorship. But with the carer visa, with minimum training and minimum experience, you are sure of getting sponsorship. And the principal thing also is for you to extend your stay. Once you extend your stay with your employer, right, that doesn't mean because you signed 5 years contract or you are sponsored for 3 years, that doesn't mean you cannot change employment, right? While you are there within the 3 years, you can be able to upskill yourself, look for a job in other area that you feel is more profitable or you feel is more dignifying in your own view, right? And move from the employer that sponsor you. If you gain another sponsored employer, you move to the new employer. It's not a bottleneck style of sponsorship that once you are sponsored for 3 years, you must see the 3 years to the end. At any point in time, you can leave. If you get another employer that is willing to sponsor you, you can notify your current employer that you want to leave. And their sponsorship, right, they will withdraw their license and terminate your employment, and you move to the second employer. So why talking down on those working within that sector as if they are misplaced priority, as if they are doing the worst job anybody can think of? A few years back, people come into this country to study. Upon graduation, they have no other means to extend their stay in the UK but to go back, right? The opportunity those of us that came into the UK from 2020 to 2024 have, most of those persons that came here in the UK within the early 2000 to 2020 do not have that opportunity. People live in this country for many years without having a valid right to work, just like the way most of us have it here in the UK in this current dispensation, right? While I was listening to that conversation, I also stumbled across one other guy, somebody I respect very well because I've been listening to some of his teaching. He's very knowledgeable in IT and other area, which I will also encourage you guys to follow his page because it's very sound and he has been giving training. I've heard him talk, I've heard him give lectures in different places. Follow his page and you gain more information, and I think you can even reach out to him for some of those and training you need for some areas, and I think it can help you out. So I just stumbled into one of the video which also coincide with some of the video I've done in the past, that the carer visa is not an end on its own. It's just like a stepping stone for you to be able to achieve a greater thing. So I was very pleased when I saw that video where it talked about some of the benefits that comes with the health and care visa and why people those talking down on the carer visa should desist and look out for the positive part. Why don't you just leverage on the positive aspect of it and make use of it while you are looking out for other positivity in other areas? I will share the video so you can listen to what he said, which coincide with my own idea about those working the carer visa and the advantage that comes with the carer visa.
You are stuck with your employer for 5 years and these and that. I was listening to some conversation online and they were talking about the skilled worker visa and the challenges that people are facing. You know, it is okay to talk about the challenges, but some people took it and turned it into a rant. And they were like, you are stuck with your employer for 5 years and these and that. They just went on. And I think it's good to have a balanced conversation in terms of where we were before and where we are now. If you ask the people that came to the UK 20, 30 years ago, they will tell you the challenges they had. I have met people that they took up to 20 years before they could even have the right to work or the right to do all the things that we are doing now. During Theresa May's time, some people came to study and there was no post-study work visa. If you don't get work within a few months, you had to go home. So this is not our country to start with. You know, whatever policy they put in place, we just need to try and walk around it. If you ask people that travel through the Sahara Desert, like Francis Ngannou, to get to Spain, you appreciate the fact that you flew in to get here. You just landed at the airport, you just came in. Things are not very easy. So, as long as there is no abuse on the job can be low paid, manage it. If your partner is able to work full-time, which is part of the skilled worker visa, let your partner work full-time, the two of you collaborate and just manage it. The sacrifice that you are making now It's for the benefit of your own family, of your own future. Somebody has to pay the price. Nothing is free. You know, if everything was okay, we should be working in our country, earning money in our country, and coming here just for holiday. But it is what it is. We have to manage. More than 400 million people in Africa live on less than $2 a day. So when you think about things like that, it's okay to want to do all these big things, but we must recognize where we are coming from, where we are, and how things is going to get better. It takes 1 or 2 generations to turn things around, and that responsibility is on your own hands. Sacrifice that 5 years, do your best, get what you are planning for, look after your children, and everything will be okay. You can still go back to school at any age, get more skills, earn as much money as possible. But for now, we have to manage what we have. I'll be here sharing as much resources as possible. You can hold on to your skilled worker visa while progressing and looking for jobs in other industry. I'll be sharing as much resources as possible. We'll be supporting each other through this. It is not easy. It is where we come from that sold us short. Your brother and friend, Toyi Badelodun. I'll see you soon.